joining us today. Really want to thank the Chainlink community, the Meter community, and the greater blockchain community for joining us today. The goal of this Q&A is to allow the community to learn a lot more about the integration between Meter and Chainlink and explore what makes this integration very unique and beneficial for both teams and both users of each product. The agenda for today is going to be a Q&A structure, have some preset questions lined up that I'll be asking Xiaohan. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll try our best to get to them. If we don't, feel free to come to both of our YouTube or both of our Telegram channels, and we can try to answer them afterwards. So without further ado, Xiaohan, very grateful. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, so maybe for the audience, do you want to just give a little introduction about yourself and what Meter is and what you guys are working on?
Sure. So basically, first, let me do a introduction of myself. So basically, I describe myself as like an engineer with a finance background. Basically, first maybe like 15 years of my career, all in engineering R&D. I was working at Microsoft, Sony, Motorola, and Huawei USA. And during the last financial crisis, I went to Wharton to get my MBA. And after that, I started shifting more to strategy and investment. Back in 2016, I raised a VC fund. So at that time, one of our investment focus was blockchain and fintech. That's how I got into the space. So at that time, for example, 2016, we invested in a Brave, the browser BAT token issuer, right? And also we invested on Symbiont and Ion. So in 2017, many of them started to issuing tokens, and we started to looking at tokens as well. So during this process, I've been just thinking because I fundamentally believe basically our human society are going through a fundamental structural change. It used to be we're separated by geographical boundaries, like oceans and mountains are separating people up. But now we're spending more of our conscious time in front of computers, smart devices, in a virtualized society, right? A virtualized economy need to be built to support such a decentralized society. So I believe this is a mega trend that's restructuring the society. And cryptocurrency is one of the fundamental things that's supporting this structure change. So that's why I found myself more interested in building things rather than investing. And also 2018, a majority of our fund got deployed. So basically, that's when I started the project Meter. So what Meter trying to do is basically we describe ourselves as a DeFi infrastructure with a built-in proof of work based stable coin. Essentially, you can view us as a Libra, except in Libra, the currency is backed by the Libra Foundation or Marx Alliance, right? And you have to trust them. But in Meter, basically, we create a stable unit of account that's created by proof of work mining. Basically, everyone can create this currency, but no one can cheat on the value. And the value itself is also pegged to 10 kilowatt hour of electricity used when you mine. So because miner basically profit chasing, so their profit chasing behavior will, and it's also a fully competitive environment. With that, at the end of the day, it will drive the currency to a stable equilibrium. We realize that because it's a global competition, at the end of the day, it's driving to basically the global competitive electricity price for this currency. And if you look at that long-term wise, it's really stable. We have data back into the 1950s till now. If you measure competitive electricity price using US dollar, it went up by 7 times. But if you adjust for inflation, it's actually stayed the same. So purchasing power wise is actually more stable than any fiat currencies in the world. And also the other things we're trying to address is the scalability issue. Because basically in order to have a good financial infrastructure, fundamentally you need to have something that's you can facilitate the financial transactions quickly with deterministic fashion. So we implemented the hot stuff consensus. This is very similar to what Libra are using as well, but we're actually the first hot stuff consensus network that currently have the mainnet online. The other thing we're trying to address is basically, although we are like a layer chain money, but we don't want to like compete with other public chains. Instead, we want to be able to interact and flow to other public chains. And also people will be able to like build applications on meter chain as well. Basically, we just want the financial asset to be freely like transferable among different chains to basically break the silo of different worlds. So because we're focusing on DeFi type of application, financial type of applications, Chainlink is very important for building any DeFi applications for the external data feedback to the on-chain. So, and also personally, I met Sergey very frequently during like IC3 research discussions. So I mean, like it's my great pleasure to working with Chainlink. Yeah, that's how the collaboration started. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure working with you too. And I find what you guys are working on so fascinating, and especially like connecting things with electricity. And maybe we can unpack that a little bit of, you're tying it to the kilowatt hours of electricity. How does this kind of like get affected on like a microeconomic scale? And does it change per like country, or how exactly is this tied to?
Yeah, so basically, so we used a lot of data from Bitcoin to analyze what's the behavior of miners, right? So basically, we look at like, for example, the hash rate of Bitcoin network, their correlation after adjusting for different generations of like mining hours. Actually, we find out there's like 85% correlations between the on-chain adjusted hash rate with the price of Bitcoin. That's because like proof of work mining is a very competitive environment. At the end of the day, for such competitive environment, there's a microeconomics theory that the marginal revenue will basically equal to marginal cost in such a competitive environment. So that's what it happens on Bitcoin. But in Bitcoin, because the economic game is designed that there's a rigid supply of Bitcoin. So basically, the only flexibility based on the supply demand is the price of Bitcoin in that case. So in Meter, because we changed the way, we're still using the Bitcoin mining machines. Basically, miners have to make a decision whether they want to mine Meter or they want to mine Bitcoin. So because Meter network, in order to create each stable coin, we call it MTR, the amount of electricity or like the amount of hashing operations on average is always the same for creating each MTR. So we benchmark it to like 10 kilowatt hour of electricity on mainstream Bitcoin mining gears. So this will basically just like force them to like always first have an opportunity cost and also have electricity cost for like mining Meter. So they will have a decision like whenever they mine Meter, they better make a better profit than mining Bitcoin, right? So we basically establish the price floor for the Meter currency, and then because it's a fully competitive environment, so the ceiling will be like pretty low as well. So it's gonna be like fluctuating within like a range. So basically, we describe it more like if you look at euro with US dollar. I mean, today there's someone in our Twitter and then posting, like if you use for the people living in Europe, looking at USDC, it's not stable at all. It's basically keep on dropping. So I mean, like it's at that point, basically it's basically come down to like what's your reference? Mm-hmm. Like because of the global competition nature of the proof of work mining. So it's basically come down to like the global competitive price of electricity. So the fundamentally it's gonna be going towards that. And right now, basically, the MTR token is already traded on the exchange. So based on our observation, I mean, right now liquidity is still low, obviously, but it's basically stabilize around like 0.7 to 0.8 like dollar range. It's holding there pretty stably. And once we turn on the economic model within the system, basically we have two token system. So one token is the currency, and there's another token, we call it governance token. So basically this is the staking token in the system. So once we turn on the economic model, like the proof of work miner can use their Meter currency to compete for the newly created governance token. And this will basically create more like demand and consumption for the Meter currency. And then after the competition, at the end of the day, the system will collect a bunch of MTR currency. So the stable proof of work coin. So this will, like 40% will be distributed to the proof of stake like validators as block rewards. And the other 60% will be retained in the system. And later, when we build DeFi type of applications, the token holders, the governance token holders will be able to use as a collaterals and borrow against them. So there's a continuous like a demand circulating to create the velocity of the money in the system. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, that's very cool to learn about.
The other thing, basically, like we realized when we look at the existing cryptocurrency is people are actually mixing currency creation and record keeping. Basically, newly created coins are reward for the like miners or validators for maintaining the ledger, right? But if you look at our physical world, miners for gold were never the same group of people as bankers and accountants. So when you're mixing them up, it actually causes a necessary conflict of interest. So fundamentally, there are actually two consensus going on in the system. One is the record keeping consensus to make sure there's no double spending. But there's another consensus that's implicit. That's the economic consensus. What's the value of newly created coin? And what's the how much value has been added to the system and need to create new currency to represent those value. So in a proof of work system, this is done by the miners. But in a proof of stake system, there's no such consensus. The inflation is just some random number designed by the developer. So that's why, I mean, like people always have some like feeling that proof of stake is missing something, right? So in Meter, basically we separate the two consensus. Currency are created by the miners to establish a stable value and link to the physical world. And the record are kept by the stakeholders, basically to maintain the security of the system and the speed of the system.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So it's a mix of proof and work and proof of stake, which is something.
Yeah, it's a hybrid consensus.
Right. So you mentioned a little bit about your work with IC3 and for the viewers that might not know the initiative for cryptocurrencies out of Cornell University and your work with Chainlink's co-founder, Sergey Nazarov. How do decentralized oracles fit into Meter, and what challenge are you trying to solve by using decentralized oracles?
Yeah, so basically, like if you look at like right now the DeFi applications, right? Like fundamentally, it needs data from the external world. No matter you build like synthetic assets or like you build like some like price feedback from the external like centralized exchanges where there are a lot of liquidity. You need Oracle to feed them into the like a blockchain. But in order to create that type of a DeFi stack, I think we need to work with like Oracle providers, especially like Chainlink. Another thing is because the entire stack is optimized for like DeFi and financial applications, we can optimize this like from an end-to-end perspective. So, and also because we support like Ethereum virtual machine already, and Chainlink is building on top of EVM. Like also 60% of our validator in our community is actually overlapped with Chainlink's validators. So there are a lot of like good fit between Chainlink and Meter. And we have a lot of opportunity to work together to basically collaboratively optimize the stack to make Oracle more secure and to ensure the stability of the entire system.
Very exciting. Yeah. So can you talk a little more about exactly what Chainlink oracles you'll be using and how they fit directly into this hybrid consensus?
Yeah. So for example, right now we're thinking for example, there will be like validators working both on Chainlink and we're validating on Meter as well. So basically, we'll start with basically just feeding the like data into like by these validators into the Meter blockchain. And initially, when we start, we first obviously want to interact with the Ethereum DeFi system, but also we'll build some applications on top of Meter as well to build to leverage on our like performance finality, that type of thing. So we probably will start with synthetic assets sometime next year. So basically, when we do that, the price feedback for these assets, no matter it's like S&P 500 or like the price of Bitcoin, are very crucial for supporting this. So basically, we're hoping to finish the integration with Chainlink by the end of the year, so we can start building those applications.
Cool. Yeah. We're really excited to continue working on that with you as well. And
yeah,
I think you kind of touched on it, but so what else is on the product roadmap you're talking about? Maybe.
Oh yeah. So basically, because we just launched our mainnet in July 4th, right? So the first priority for us is basically because we're targeting like a DeFi type of applications, we want to be able to first hook into the Ethereum ecosystem. So basically, we are working on like a bridge to basically allow our token, the governance token, and the currency token flow into the Ethereum DeFi system, and build some like tradings and liquidity inside the Ethereum DeFi system, and have more applications in Ethereum side using like the MTR and MTRG tokens. So that's the first step, and then the second step is we will turn on basically right now basically the nodes are maintained by the foundation. We will turn on the open staking and the on-chain economic like cycle in around 2-3 months time frame. Basically after that, basically the system will just start running by itself, fully decentralized, and then we'll start to build DeFi applications on top of Meter stack, like starting from next year. So that's a rough roadmap. Yeah.
Yeah, exciting times. As soon as I get on the
a lot of
mainnet.
things to work out.
Yeah, this is very exciting. And so like with Meter, do you have like an application, or are people able to spend the stable currency, or how does that kind of fit into the grand vision?
Yeah, so basically it's a little bit tricky for like stable coins. First, we need to build liquidity in order for other people to start using it, right? So the number one priority is to build the liquidity at this stage. So we started with centralized exchanges, and now we're soon moving into the Ethereum DeFi space to basically to build more liquidities over there. And then we will be able to like go to any like applications like, and also like off-chain providers for like building payment lending type of applications. We already have a bunch of like partnerships lined up. For example, like we have partners building like payment systems in North America, and also like issuing credit cards in Latin America. So all these relationships we can leverage on to further push Meter once we have the liquidity in the system.
Cool. Yeah, very, very exciting. Yeah, I'm curious. So there's a lot of talk about like liquidity mining and some different things within decentralized finance, DeFi. But what really gets you excited? What are you looking forward to, and what's exciting?
Yeah, so I mean, liquidity mining is definitely something like really interesting method to boot up initial liquidity for projects. So we're definitely looking into that, and we're working on something as well. Basically, because I think it's especially a good fit for our project because one of our design goal is to create liquidity, to create that application. It's not for just like pumping up the token price, stuff like that. So I mean, I think it's definitely a useful approach. In terms of DeFi, basically, like I mentioned earlier, we believe it's a fundamental shift in the human social economic relationship. But right now, because like people are building things really fast, so a lot of approach are like a very centralized approach. Um, we believe basically as long as you have interactions with fiat currencies, direct interaction with fiat currencies, I mean, it's unavoidable at the end of the day, you come to like a very strict regulatory screening and monitoring. That's what hit Libra. And it's not basically the regulators like allowing, I mean, ignoring you. It's just you are not big enough yet to attract their attention. So basically, as the DeFi system gets big, that's definitely like a concern for building a fully open and decentralized financial system. And that's why basically because the approach we're using, it's fully decentralized from day one. So everyone can create the stable coin, but no one can cheat. So it's avoid the regulatory, and also there's no collaterals. There's no like pools that like we need to manage, or like people have to collectively manage. So it actually avoids a lot of regulatory concerns from as long as I would say as long as it's like a developed country with democratic regulators, it's very difficult to basically ban a fully decentralized currency. Essentially, this is more like a digital commodity that's basically created by people at will, essentially.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting times with new regulations coming into place, and should be a very, very exciting future. Yeah, is there anything else that we maybe left off that you would like to tell the viewers of this video?
I think that I covered like a pretty good part of it already. Yeah. I
Cool.
mean,
Yeah,
it's the first time for you to. I mean, I talked to you about the meter. So if you have any questions, yeah.
no, it's very exciting. Like I'm saying, I'm very,
Really,
very intrigued with everything you're working on, and I'm sure all the viewers are as well. If we all want to join your community, where would be the best place to find yourself and find Meter?
Yeah, so basically we have community on Telegram. The link is basically on our website, meter.io. And I believe the Telegram channel is meter_io as well. So, I mean, we have Discord channels, we have Twitter, I mean, Instagram. Yeah. Just
Cool.
follow.
Yeah, I'll make sure to drop all those links into the description after this video for everyone that's listening.
Really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're really excited to hear more about your progress and to continue working together and have a lot of success now that you just launched mainnet a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, like we really want to learn from Chainlink as well in terms of like community building and I mean, because you guys have been doing really great in terms of community building and communicating with the community as well. I mean, all this are great. We definitely need to learn a lot of things from you guys. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, yeah, we really appreciate that, and really grateful for you joining on this, and learning more about your community, learning more about the product that you're using. These are always great starts, and there's a long way to go that we're really excited to work together on.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that.
Cool. Well, I think that wraps up our video Q&A for today. Thank you again, Xiaohan, for joining us, and all the community members that are joining in on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you, Keenan, for hosting.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. And I really want to thank all the other team members that helped Mike and Rory put this all together as well. We're looking to do a lot more of these in the future. So if you're listening in, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel for whenever we post new videos or go live on YouTube. And again, really want to thank you, Xiaohan. Very grateful for you joining, and look forward to seeing your progress.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks.
Talk soon.